Hello, how's it going? I think I messed with my mic a little bit and it was very unintentional, but it means that I'm a little bit quieter than I used to be, I think. Um, Sorry in advance. Okay, so we are wrapping up these wonderful little hearts that we made. Little delayed in getting it all finished. Good evening, Dorothy Z. Welcome. I was sick for like a week. I still kind of have a little bit of a cough when I talk excessively, which is kind of part of what I do on the live stream. So bear with me. I will try and um, keep you guys entertained, but it does mean a lot of talking for me. So the last few live streams have been a little bit short, but we got all of the front of our hearts done. So what we're going to do is just sew them together. We started this guy. I just have this little tiny bit left here, and then we're going to do the rest of the six. The way I think I'm gonna attach them is just kind of like a little loop of thread, I think, between each of them. So it will be a very determined, fixed amount of thread between each of the hearts. Fixed spacing, all of that. So I gave thought to just having like one long woven piece of thread, and I think that would be super simple and super straightforward, but I just have a hard time with that because I don't know why. So my game plan is to do fixed pieces and they all kind of connect. But there's still time that could change. um, yeah, so we're gonna hop in. I did keep out all of my, you can kind of see them off to the side, all of my little red clips. I was using those instead of pins to clip all of like the front and the back together on this guy because it's just a little bit easier. It doesn't kind of like leave a wave or a pucker. Not that you have a pucker when you sew it all together, but just in case. Sometimes it's just a little bit easier to use the clips. Okay. Those are cute. Thank you. I am a little bit behind. We're definitely after Valentine's Day. But we got them. We had five, and I was very, I finally came up with like what I was gonna do for the other two, and then I got kind of sick. So I took about a week off, and we're just like a week behind. So no big deal. um, Hopefully everybody's enjoying in the United States. We have President's Day tomorrow, so some of us have a 3-day weekend. Definitely feeling better, thank you. Just a little residual cough, so lots of water breaks. It's been fun, lots of fun. And then I'm still kind of solidifying my next project. I really want to kind of do this. Oh, that's not gonna work. Greens, kind of spring. Ooh, I have an entire week off for midwinter breaks. I'm very happy for a week off. I totally forgot that that part of the nation does midwinter break. Everywhere else I've lived, no. They do, sometimes they do like a fall break and they'll do like a long weekend, but that was, um, that was when hunting season started. That's how it like what it coincided with. I thought that was kind of funny. But that was in the fall, and then they had Christmas break still, which was kind of interesting, and then spring break. So there was no midwinter. But I forgot about midwinter. Okay. It's kind of nice to have a whole week off. It's not very warm here yet to do much outside. It should be next week. I'm so excited. Things are just barely starting to like sprout in our yard, and I don't want to do a whole ton. I think there's going to be a lot of maintenance regardless of what I do, and so I feel like just kind of cleaning up what's been planted. There's a lot of very established shrubs and trees, so I will have a lot of weeding on my hands. Yeah, it was snowing on Thursday, so I'm not about to go out and do anything. Well, a break's a break. It's not an outdoor break. Um, but yeah, I'm really excited for some good weather. Okay, so this is our last stitch. We're only going to go through the front, and then we're going to tie our knot. Maybe if I can get the needle to go through. And that's pretty cool. I just pulled my thread through the beginning knot. Sweet. What could go wrong? It's just gonna make life a little bit more challenging, but that's okay. So on this one, I'm going to tie my knot as close to the edge as possible, but I'm not going to worry about it being inside, and then I'll just tuck it in. Well, maybe I want it a little bit closer than that, but then we'll tuck it in once we could trim it. And it will be a little bit loose if it ever gets like pulled. However, it's knotted and secure. So, okay, that's not working. Here we go. Tuck that in. One done. Okay, we'll do a swap. I'm gonna, I think, stack them up as I don't need 3 knots. Stack them up as I get them done. But this one's gonna be a little bit trickier. I just want to make sure that all of these little loose bits, oh sorry, all these little loose bits on the back from the knots around the edge are tucked in so they don't come out and kind of peek through the edge. So this one might take just a little bit of time, but I wanted to do it sooner rather than later so that I wasn't like, yeah, drained, I guess. Okay. So I'm going to use my clips. We'll just clip around, kind of try and get everything tucked in, and we'll like redo it, kind of work it once we are sewing it too, but this just gives us a little, maybe a head start. Maybe. Felt like I had like water on my hand. That was weird. Okay. I'm gonna move that one a little bit more secure, and we'll, oh, I don't need more thread. I have thread. I have a couple extra clips, so I might clip together. I mean, I have a whole tea light glass holder, I guess, of more, so I could just bring that a little closer and I could clip a few of these guys and just get that part done. So yeah, here we go. We'll get a few clipped and we can just kind of move forward with the sewing. Yeah, it feels like it's wet. That's weird. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, I think I have my knot in this guy. Yes. I want to go this way, so we'll start up by this clip. Again, I don't want to start in the valley or the peak corner. I just don't like to draw attention to that unless I'm starting out a very like this specific stitch up here, I started at the corner or at the valley just because I knew I needed it to be even, for lack of a better word, phrase, I don't know. Okay. Oh, listen, little thread. Okay, maybe let's get some of that out of the way. Ooh, I'm going to take a little quick water break. Hang tight. Okay, so sorry. I'm going to do my best to stay ahead of coughing. That usually kind of creeps up out of nowhere, but if I can stay hydrated, hopefully that'll be good. All right. So I'm just doing a whip stitch. I kind of debated between a blanket stitch and a whip stitch. I think a blanket stitch would give it kind of a maybe a little bit more finished. It would still have this the hatching or the lines that kind of come into the project, but it would also have a line that goes across the edge or the border. But because I, it's just a heart garland. Like there's nothing super crazy fancy about it, at least in my mind. And because the thread is blending in instead of it being contrasting, I'm just gonna stick with the whip stitch. I think if it were contrasting, like if I were doing pink or the ivory, then I would go with use that thread, more colors. No, it's blending. If I were using something contrasting, I would do a blanket stitch to kind of give it that finished edged look, but I don't think it was necessary on this project, and hopefully the whip stitch will go just a little bit faster. We'll see. Not always my fastest stitch when doing an outline of a project, but it is a good go-to for these ornaments. More knots. I don't know. Listen, I'm not gonna do more knots. At least not right here. I do like a good knot. Mad Imps being funny. Okay. I think my stitches got just a little kind of small in here, but we'll be okay. Oh, no. I'm gonna move this one over here. Get that guy, I think, out of the way for now. Okay. I don't want to sew into this really fun thread that we used, the Rainbow Gallery thread. I don't want to sew into that on the front. I don't care if I sew into it in the back, because nobody's going to see that unless they take it apart, and then that's on them. But for the front, I kind of want it to blend in, and if I sew into it or tack it down in any way, I'm drawing attention to the border stitch. So, oh, that's not right. What am I pulling on? Here we go. Nope. Okay. I feel like I did like my normal chores. So we tend to do laundry, and dishes are always never ending around here because we don't have a dishwasher just yet. But the laundry is usually like we just do kind of like an all day as we are doing other stuff, constantly staying on top of laundry. Um, that's kind of turned into our Sunday. It happens throughout the week, but it's usually like towels or kids' clothing. Sunday is like the rest of the laundry, like hours, which is fine. It's just hang tight 2 seconds. Okay, so sorry. Um, so, anyways, although we have a 3-day weekend, I was like, okay, if we just stick to um, our regular weekend, then Monday will truly feel like a day off instead of postponing all of it to Monday. So I'm kind of excited. Although today I really struggled. I was so tired. So tired. Not my favorite feeling. I think I got maybe 30 minutes of sleep, like a nap. I tried to do it when both of our tiny humans were also sleeping, but the afternoon nap for our oldest one is sometimes she sleeps and sometimes she just kind of quietly plays. And I'm good with either because she's, safely contained in her bedroom. She recently, this actually past week, she stopped wanting to sleep with like a baby, and that was kind of sad. But we put some books in there instead, and she finally, it took her a couple days to be like, oh, I have books. So when she wakes up, she kind of will sit there and um, go through the pages and like point out things and um, kind of read to herself. So it's been fun. So she kind of did that for this afternoon, but she definitely didn't sleep. So, neither did I. I mean, a little, but not much. Oh, okay. My most challenging part to the whip stitch is like the placement of the stitches and over this curve. It's been fun. I'll be a master by the 7th one, I'm sure. It'll be flawless. That's not true, but we can pretend. So I've been trying to like solidify my plans for our next project. I want it to be something springy and green and seems pretty straightforward, right? But mm, my brain is not. It's not playing nice. So while I kind of figure out what we're doing, um, I ironed on a tea towel, just like a transfer, old school iron-on transfer for hand embroidery. So I got my hoop out, some embroidery threads. Did I keep the pattern down or did I think I put it away? um, Sometimes they come with like what colors, like what DMC floss colors you're supposed to use. But I found this in um, like a little needlepoint stitch shop, and both of them that I've gone to in the area, like I think the shops are older than I am, and they have materials in there that are probably as old as me. They've got new stuff too, but the things that don't sell, like some old patterns call for old things. So like older, like this rainbow gallery stuff, some of it that I have is discontinued. And when I finally called Rainbow Gallery and I'm like, help me understand what I'm doing with this. They were like, that's been discontinued for like a decade. Oh, okay, cool. Do you have something similar that I could figure out what to do with this decade old thread that I just recently acquired? Um, Adventures. Super fun. Anyways, some of the iron-on transfers that I found, I picked up some like lettering ones for like a generic lettering. Because even if I need to, instead of doing like an iron-on, I could do like a pen, right? Like I could trace it, or kind of freehand my own with that inspiration. Because you can only use the iron-ons like 3 times, and then the transfer's no longer good. Um, Up to 3 times. That's, I think, kind of generous. But I found this one, besides all the fun like lettering ones and like borders and edges, and they used to do pillowcases and footstools and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, besides all of that, I found one with hummingbirds and flowers, and I was like, that's kind of springy. I like that. So I picked one of those and I ironed that onto a tea towel. So we'll have a spring hummingbird to hand embroider. And the other kind of neat thing about I think they're Aunt Martha's, they're just outlines. So we're not doing anything elaborate. We're not doing any like satin stitches or chain stitches. I just always do a stem stitch. I think you can do like a back stitch. I just sometimes the lines are kind of intricately curved, and I have better luck with a stem stitch. So that is what I use. Okay, I need some water. So sorry. All right. I think I had this problem last time. I don't think I'm going to have enough thread to get around. Oh, maybe I will. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I have to. Oh, I think I should be okay. Never mind. Ha ha ha, just kidding. Okay. I've got some thicker knots back here. The goal is just to kind of make sure that the threads from the knots on the back side don't pop through. And once I sew everything in place, we should be good. Like nothing's gonna come through the stitches per se. So as I'm going, I'm just kind of tucking things back in. Okay. To Mad Imp's last comment, the more knots comment, I will say that the spring one that I'm trying to kind of put together, I think I just need to sketch it and like start getting it on paper, but I have a ton of different green threads and I want to incorporate them all. It's kind of unrealistic. But I think I need to start with like a green background. Even if it's like a dark green, I think a dark green would actually be really pretty. And then kind of layer almost some threads, some wools. I don't know if I have, I'll have to see what my green scraps look like. I don't have tons of like larger pieces of green, so I'm not sure. I don't know. I haven't figured out the background color just yet. That'll, I guess, maybe determine how much layering we're gonna do. Okay. Might have to untwist my thread here. Just a little twisted, not too bad. Oh, there we go. Had one more. Cool. We will have perfect amount of thread. Okay. I think that we're just about there. We just have to 1, 2, 3-ish more stitches. I've got like the perfect amount of thread. Maybe a little longer, but not, I mean, I'd rather it be just a little longer than too short. We'll do 2 more, or well, 1.5, because this one is only going to come up through the front, and then we're going to tie our knot. Okay, now that I'm done concentrating where all my stitches are going. So the layering idea that I'm having, and I don't know if I'm going this route because I haven't really like pulled my stash, right? Like I've kind of perused the green threads. That's kind of been the inspiration is I've got some sheer, I have some um just all sorts. I've got I think some like bamboo thread that's got like a little bit of sparkle to it. I've got like this kind of grayish, really small rickrack that I think would be really fun. Just different things, right? And I really want to use them. I want to use them all, but they're not all in the same green family. So I have to figure out how to, I guess, layer them, or if I'm gonna do like different plants. Like a poppy leaf is very jagged. And so like the rickrack could work really well for that jagged poppy leaf. Cool. I don't think I wanna. I should though. So that jaggedness would be really cute as like the edge or the perimeter of leaves. But I don't know if that would go on its own and have its own definition, or if it would be underneath or on top of wool, or I just don't even know. It's I think I just need to pull out my stash and kind of figure out what my background is, what like the different leaves are going to be, if I'm going to do like a dragonfly or maybe a bumblebee. I don't know. The goal is to use up the greens, but I also think that the focal point will be whatever the flighty insect is. Thunderpup, more hearts. I know we're almost done, guys. We're almost done. I just have to finish sewing them to their backs so that we can hide all of the, you know, messy bits. We're almost there. This should be my last live stream with the hearts. It's been a very long Valentine's here. I know I was saying earlier that I took a week off because I was sick. Valentine's is the whole month of February, isn't it? No? Kind of. Okay. I think I'm just gonna do one more. And then we'll do our front stitch. And we'll get that knot in. We're gonna pin this guy back so that we have a little bit easier time tying our knot. Okay. I really thought about just finishing these off the live stream. And then we could hop into the next project, but it's like, no. We started it on the live stream. We're gonna finish it on the live stream. And it's fun to kind of see them come together. It's just that week with a cold. Okay, what happened? And thread our needle. I'm using a chenille needle. Someone put together like little, I don't even remember what it was called. There's a stem stitch, and then there's like, it's the exact opposite of the stem. It looks identical, it's just the twist goes in the other direction. I've already forgotten it. But they used a crewel needle with pearl cotton, and they got the thread like this threaded on, and it just kind of started to try and untwist the pearl cotton. And I had to ask them, I was like, what needle did you use? They were like, oh, I think it's just a crewel needle, which is common for like embroidery, but not with pearl cotton. I was like, oh, okay. That's why your thread looks like that. A crewel needle and a chenille needle are very similar. The only thing that is truly different about them is the eye of the needle. They're both very sharp, but the eye of the needle is, that's not what I wanted. The eye of the needle is smaller on a crewel needle, and it is larger on a chenille. And so I, using pearl cottons for my threads, sometimes even thicker, I definitely want a larger eye for my needles, but if you are not using pearl cotton or any kind of thicker thread, if you're just doing embroidery floss, then a crewel needle should be just fine. Because also you have to think of the material that you're sewing through. So if you're sewing through a tight cotton or whatever it may be, the thickness of that eye, you have to pull that through as well. So when you're working with smaller threads, it makes sense to have your eye smaller, even though it might be easier to thread a larger eye if you are working with a type of fabric that's going to show the hole from your needle, you'll want to use a thinner needle, the thinnest needle possible. Someday I'll know all the different needles out there, I guess. There's just so many different techniques and different tips and tricks for different, not genres, but different styles, different, you know, yeah. Okay. It's a little bit more angled than I would have liked. There we go. Okay. My favorite one to bring out, oh, I guess there's two, but the milliner's needle is perfect for various knots. So when you wrap thread around your needle and then have to pull your needle through more than just the fabric that you're working on, you have to pull it through wrapped parts of your thread. The milliner's needle is very, very handy for that. And then a beading needle. I would definitely invest if you ever want to use beads or seed beads. I use seed beads with sequins. I have a jar. That's what I was pointing to. Sorry. I use them just for fun in various ways, but I think the only place that I really, oh, I used them on the button one. So I used the little pearl beads. I guess they're not technically seed beads. And I also used the pearl beads on the center of the sequins for this one. So, um, not necessarily a seed bead, but the center of those beads was very tiny. So I opted for a beading needle when we were working on both of those hearts. It just, sometimes you can get, it depending on the bead, you can get a smaller crewel or chenille needle to go through the center of the seed bead, but it's not a guarantee. So you might have to like go through a few needle or a few beads to find one that you can get the eye of your needle to go through. I tried all the cheap ones first, the like wire, and I think I got a beading needle with a kit for something, and oh yeah, stocking, Christmas stocking. And I was like, yep, this makes sense. I should have invested in these. And so I got a couple nicer ones that were a little bit longer and not like a short little guy, and with longer eyes on them so that I can um, maybe see my threading. I always struggle with threading my needle. I have a bunch of different needle threaders, but the needles that I need help threading my needle through are the ones that needle threaders don't go through the eye. Like I can usually thread my needle for a larger needle. It's those tiny little like beading needles or crewel needles. I don't really use crewel needles, but I think I might have a few that I've used with the wool thread, but I think I end up using the chenille needle anyways with the wool thread because it's just easier. Okay. Gonna take a quick water break. Much better. I've also been getting a few more resources for those really fun pin cushions that we made with the felted wool balls. I really thought they were fun. They went, I think, relatively quickly. Um, and when I started adding the petals to them, I thought, oh my gosh, this is so cute. So I thought I could maybe whip out some more. I think they'd just be a good little like gift to have on hand. We'll see. Okay. I feel like these hearts aren't the same size. They are, like I cut them on a die cutter. Like I know they're the same size. I just they just feel not not quite the same. I'm sure it has to do with like the sewing that I did on the one, the very on the top versus the back one doesn't have anything. I think this project was pretty fun. I'm not always great at having different, like on a garland, I would want them, I think, all to be the same or have some sort of a pattern. And so this was a good challenge for me to make them all different. And they have definitely some cohesion, right? In their colors, their background heart is all the same. There's only two different wool colors to choose from, but I didn't do the same pattern on any of them. I used a variety of similar things, but I only used lace on this one. I only tied a bow on this one. I did no solid white except for the thread, the outlining this one. Like, they're all just a little bit different. The button one I think is so fun. I really like the button one. I mean, all of them just in their own way, I think, are just pretty cute. I guess the other thing you could do if you didn't want to make them all, you just really liked one, you could just do that and then you could turn it into an ornament. Um, just have it as a single heart instead of all of them. Or a variation, I guess, of any of them. If one of them is inspiring and you have something similar but not identical materials, which I can't blame you for not having identical materials. The likelihood that you have that lace and those buttons. Okay. Okay. Not as fast as I'd like it to go, but not too bad. We're over halfway there on this one. That's pretty good. Okay, my thread is a wee bit twisted, so we're gonna just dangle it. Oy. There we go. They'll be ready for next year. 100% they'll be ready for next year. Hey Cabanasi. I promise that even if I don't finish these tonight, our next live stream will not be hearts. I will do all of the boring finishing touches off stream for you guys. But we're almost there. And honestly, they were fun. I mean, I wasn't I had low expectations of my of my hearts. But just something kind of fun and whimsical. And I really, if I had not have gotten sick, I really think that we would have just been perfect, right? Like a week ago on the Sunday. Valentine's was on Wednesday. Would have been perfect, but that's okay. It's still February. Whoops, my sound was off. Oh, I understand. Oh, knots. Here we go. Okay. Yikes. You were sick and the Garland was delayed, I'm guessing. Yeah, I was out for like a week. Um, so I would have been like perfect. Perfect timing. Um, Alas, here we are. Life happens. I actually lost my voice. That's why I'm still kind of coughing, but trying to stay ahead of it tonight with lots of water breaks. It was a little bit scratchy, a little bit hoarse, a little bit missing at times. But all's well that ends well, and absolutely accurate. It will 100% be ready for next year. I have a couple other things that I was gifted, some heart ornaments for the tiny humans, and those will also need to go up into our Valentine's bin. So I've left them out because I know that this will also go up into the Valentine's bin. Kind of incentive to get it done. Gosh, it's so twisted. Why are you twisting? I blame USPS. What? Why are you, Madam, why are you blaming the USPS? What did USPS do? So confused. For the delay? The delay in my sewing? I don't think USPS is going to be the reason for my delay. Yeah, take all the water breaks you need, including tea with honey. I know. We don't. So we moved into the house and it has some things that we'd like to upgrade. And one of them would be like a, instant hot water tap because we don't own a teapot. So I have to like go boil water in a pot. Old school, very old school. It's very not exciting. Um, I mean, it's fine. It's just one of those like, I guess I could do it in the microwave. All this time, I've been doing it in a pot. And no, we don't have a kettle. We have no teapot. We have no kettle. No, no. I have a pot where I have a microwave. I have, I think, 3 or 4 different ways to make coffee. I don't. No. Admittedly, I only ever drink tea when I'm sick. So not all that often, but I know. This past week was super fun. I took lots of breaks at work. I was like, sorry, I have to go boil the water. I'll be right back. And it's an old school oven, so it's or like stove range, and so it's, nothing newfangled where it like boils in 60 seconds. No, which is fine. I just every other day of the year, 100% totally fine. Whatever. when you want one and you don't have one. So annoying. Okay. Going to. I don't think that was right. Nope. I went the wrong direction. But why? They can be cheap, right? I think like yeah. So I used to have one. Um, and it was bright yellow. I really liked it, but uh, when we moved in together, it didn't make sense to keep it. We had a really small kitchen, and it just sat on the cooktop forever, and it took up space, um, and it never got used because we had a hot water tap. Then we moved. And okay, so if I want to go this way, I want to go this way. Okay, sorry. Just had to use my brain for a second. So we donated my teapot. It was a really, I mean, it wasn't sentimental to me. I had picked it up. It was bright yellow. It was fun. Um, and again, I only ever used it for tea, and we had a hot water tap, so it wasn't necessary. So we could 100% go and get one, but by the time I'm like, I break down and I go get a teapot, we're probably going to have a hot water tap. Just one of those, okay, yes, I could go get one, but I haven't. Okay. We also have, I wonder if I could, we have a milk frother. I wonder if I could have just put water in that and it would have heated up the water. And we have so many kitchen gadgets, but not a teapot. I understand the irony. Okay. Getting a little short on thread, but we want to keep that going. Well, I was about to unfollow, but I guess I'll let you off the hook this time. Thanks. I should just go get one. Now we're in small town America. I don't even know where you would go to like buy one around here. Who sells teapots? My brain. I think I got mine at like a TJ Maxx or Ross, which is hold on. It's I don't even know how to describe it. I don't know if you guys have them. But they are like sometimes name brand things, but there's only like one of them, so it's not like a department store where you have a bunch. Um, and like same with clothes. So they have home goods and they've got um, just all sorts of kind of fun, interesting one-off items. And that's where I got a fair amount of just kind of like fun kitchen things. I wasn't looking for, specific name brand or specific size. I always wanted a green kitchen and I had a lot of yellow things, so that's not gonna work. So I had a lot of green and yellow kitchen items, and so I wasn't super picky on my teapot, but I wanted it to kind of fit with that. So when I found that bright yellow one, I was like, sold. Perfect. Oh, come on. Here we go. I'll do one more. But like I said, we didn't have a need for it. With the hot water tap, I mean, it's instant hot water. couldn't I couldn't justify keeping a teapot, and I never used it, so. Okay. Just gonna move that up a little. Let's get some more thread. I'm happy to say I feel like I'm making a dent in some of these threads. I definitely made a dent in this one. Definitely. The rest of them, meh. The ivory and the pink, I don't think I really did, but this burgundy one I am, which is good. It's always nice to see the progress. Oh no. Oh, there we go. Phew. It's a little long. Okay. Oh, goodness. Maybe. I also am excited because I went to um, Thursday was a long day. I went to a guild meeting for a local embroidery guild on Thursday morning, and then my day job, and then on my lunch break we had a new like introduction for anybody who is local to come check out the Scoop and Loop. So I went to that for my lunch break. I guess the metal content in hot water here is too high, and boiling on the stove always takes longer. We have tea multiple times a day. Yeah, I, yes, I, the reason we haven't put in the hot water tap, or I think we want to update the sink because I like a lovely stainless steel sink. I've been scrubbing this white one a lot. Again, we don't have a dishwasher either, so lots of scrubbing all around. But when we also want to put in like a water filtration system, and so that's part of the whole like sink, water, hot water tap, all of that. Um, and that's a bigger ticket item than um, just the hot water tap. Uh, so it hasn't happened yet. I don't I don't know when it will happen. So the teapot isn't a bad idea to go and just get one because we also didn't have an ice maker in our freezer. Like there's no water hookup, and so we finally just bought an ice maker because we have ice all the time. We are buying it, and I was like, I'm buying I'm buying ice. Like this is silly. So we caved and we bought our own little personal ice maker, but oh wow, an embroidery guild. I'm a little scared with moving because I enjoy the guild in my current city so much, so I know I'll be downsizing. Oh, I went to one and they made a comment about they're one of the largest in the area. Um, they have a little over, last count was a little over 100 people, 100 members. And I was like, wow, okay. I mean, I don't have a real true frame of reference because I've was not aware of guilds before we moved in our area. We probably had them. I just was clueless. Um, there's a guild in the next city, but it'll be smaller. Yeah, so we live in such a small town that the guild that I went to is an hour away. Um, so it was an all morning excursion because it was an hour drive to and from, plus the duration of the meeting. And they didn't really truly have a program for like they were going to go over red work, but they just kind of talked about it. Um, the next 2 months, I think they're working on tamari balls, which are really cool, also kind of intimidating. I'm not, I'm a little nervous. But I mean, even if it's just once a month learning something new, it's kind of cool. I can research into things that I'd be interested in. They also have master classes, so I'm kind of excited. But there is one that is closer to me. It's about 25, 30 minutes away, but it meets while I'm working. So that's kind of like, I don't know if I can make that work. I don't think I can swing that one. It's, you know, once a month and I get that, but yeah, we'll see. Um, so it was it was a fun morning. And just kind of talking to a couple different members about different things. They had show and tell, so I could kind of go up and talk to the people of like, there's somebody who does like beautifully intricate, just is there something smaller than seed beads? I don't know, but she made this like box it was a round box with like a lid on it, and it was all folded and twisted. Oh my gosh, it was wow. My one is 45 minutes away in the same city. Yeah, they're not close. I I'm excited to have it. I just kind of wish it was closer. Just a little bit. But yeah, I think it was good. I'd like to join it and kind of build those resources because I think they all have skill sets. Someone mentioned stumped work, and I was like, oh, I have a book. I haven't really gotten into it. I haven't done anything with stump work. I just really like three-dimensional work. And then there was something Brazilian that they were like, oh, you'd really like that. And I was like, I'll have to research that. I didn't write it down. So silly me. But it was really fun. It was mostly people who cross stitched, but I want to try stump work in the future. It looks so cool. I don't know what I would ever do with it, but I really like the idea behind it. It's just three-dimensional. Um, I don't know, just cool. Okay. I think we're halfway there and halfway done with all of the hearts. Ooh, I'm gonna take a water break. 2 seconds. Okay, so sorry. I do have some of the smaller hearts left over, so I put them aside with my pincushion project because I acquired some more little dishes and wool felt balls. And I'd like to do more with like the petals on them. I'm a little nervous that the dishes that I found are a little bit bigger than the wool felt balls are. So I might have to maybe layer some petals. But I have the die cutter that did these hearts, all the 3 different sizes of hearts, but I also have um, 2 different sizes of circles, which is what I used before. And then it also does, I think I have some off to the side. This is a small size, but it does these like petals or leaves or whatever. And there's a bigger size. So if I was really feeling adventurous, I could, oh, I have some of the bigger ones. There we go. I could like do a bunch of these around a wool ball and right like have it more like a sunflower almost instead of I don't even know a daisy. Ooh, I don't know if that 30-minute nap was long enough. Okay. I think our girls have been going to bed a little bit earlier, and means they wake up a little bit earlier, which is not my norm, but it's becoming my norm. But it definitely makes for a one tired mama. So today I tried to nap when they did, but it didn't work out so well. I always remember being told, sleep when they sleep, sleep when they sleep. And at night, they sleep really well. For the most part, they are like awesome sleepers, 10 to 12 hours. Phenomenal. Um, they're great. But I don't go to bed when they go to bed. I'm terrible at going to bed when they go to bed. Um, so on the weekends, I'm like, all right, cool, I can get a nap. Oops, sorry, I bonked the camera. Maybe I'll get a nap tomorrow. Maybe. We'll see how the day goes. I also feel like no, I should use the time to get stuff done, right? Like um the older of the two is super into like helping. She likes to help with chores, laundry, dishes. Um she's not like great at it. It's more of like a playtime for her, but we give her like little projects and she loves to be helpful, so I will encourage that until the end of time. You want to help with chores? Yes. Yes, please. Okay. Let's do this tip. Okay. I don't think that's right. Uh-oh. 100% not right. Okay. Take that out. Rethread. Front to back. Front to back. I went with back to front. Changing it up. There's a weird light spot on my needle. Maybe it was just a reflection. That was weird. Okay, front to back, front to back. There we go. Okay, we'll get this one done. And we'll put the clips on the remaining 3. I really want to show you guys this iron-on transfer that I did for the tea towel because it's kind of cool. And I know that like I'm just doing. Okay, that was dumb. I'm just doing the outline of it, but I'm doing it on red, so that'll kind of change up how the colors go, how they play with each other, because I've only ever seen hummingbirds in like this really pretty iridescent green. Also, they move fast, so who knows what other colors they come in. But I do know that they are attracted to red and yellow flowers, and since the towel itself is red, my flower needs to be yellow. So I know that I will have yellow. I will likely have green unless I can come across some research that says hummingbirds are some other color, um, which they very well could be. I don't know. My experience says they're green. I am only one person. Okay, tuck that knot in. We're halfway there. Okay. Oh, we can't do that. Okay. I love the variety in all of these. Like this one's just so sweet with its like little scallop and the bow and the just sweet. And then this one's really sweet. Has the flowers out of sequins, but it's got a ton of sparkle to it. Really fun. The lace one, really like that one as well. This one's gonna be super fun to sew because I'm gonna try and sew that in so that we kind of have this clean folded over edge. It's not going to be the most fun thing. What I should do, I should have made it longer so that I could sew it with this white thread, but I did not make that long enough, so it's going to be fun. Okay. Oy vey. All right. Okay. I feel like this one should have more to it, but I'm gonna keep it how it is. Just feels very simple. I think simple is good. So we'll keep it. Now I'm co-crafting. I'm doing a sampler to test a plain red stranded with plain red pearl. And a coral variegated pearl and a pearl 12. Oh, okay. Gotcha. So kind of to like test the different thicknesses or thicknesses. There we go. And colors. Are you doing it all on the same sampler, like same background color? Very fun. I want to do another sampler. The only one I did was just kind of small. I think I used a single strand of embroidery floss. Like very petite. And it was just basic stitches that I already knew, nothing wild and crazy. And I'd like to, I think, I don't know, I think getting a kit would be, I don't know, or finding an image that I can like kind of draw out and follow along, sort of a deal. I'm making a trailed coral, and I was just using plain red, but I'm testing if I can blend them together. I don't know what a trailed coral is. I'll have to look that up. Trailed coral. Oh, this is twisted. Hang tight. Here we go. I know I'm not going to have enough of this thread to get me all the way around, but it'll get us started. Trailing is when you couch down threads and then wrap around the thread. It creates a raised cylinder shape. Okay, so are you keeping like the scraps of your threads to work with, or um, is that just part of the like stitch with what you're using already? I don't think I made any sense in my question. um, you use new thread, or do you use the trimmings from previous projects, I guess? I always kind of keep a pile going of my current projects trimmings. I don't typically use them, but every once in a while, like I just need a little snippet of that one thread, and so I go back to my pile, and there's usually something. I used cheap red to be the core, and then I'm testing which nice thread to wrap around the core. Okay, gotcha. I understand a little bit better. It sounds kind of, is that like a version of stump work or totally unrelated? Sorry, I'm making you type while you're trying to sew. Oh, sorry. I'll have to look it up. It sounds really interesting. And like I said, I have my stump work book. I've just kind of perused it, but I didn't really like crack it open and dive in. It might be I haven't checked which category it goes into. Okay, that's fair. There we go. I don't think we'll get quite halfway with this thread, but we'll get close. And it's all good. We've got plenty more, at least for this project. I've got some étoile. I don't know if that's quite how you say it, but in my brain that's how it's said. DMC étoile floss, and it has this sparkle that runs through it. It's really lovely to work with. I think most DMC is lovely to work with. But I can't find more of it, which is kind of a bummer. And I started a project and I've been working on it, and I found something with Rainbow Gallery that's very similar. When it frays, it frays differently, but I think when it sews, it's going to look very, very similar. And so I have something to utilize for. I have two different flowers, and one's with the étoile, and I think the other one's going to be with the DMC versus the Rainbow Gallery, just because I don't think I'm going to have enough of the DMC. Um, so I don't want them to be like up next against each other in one flower. So I think I'm going to have one flower each, but it was gifted to me. And even the person who gave it to me, I was like, where did you get it? Oh, just, the local craft store had some. Like, oh, do they have more? Nope. Cool. Oh, but maybe they could order it. That's not a bad idea. I'll have to ask. Ooh, water break. Okay. More thread. Wrap it around a couple times, get ourselves a knot. This guy's a little wonky. Okay. We'll get this knot in here. What I want to do before we, because I don't know if I'll get these all done on camera tonight, because I'm fading fast. Okay, my hoop. I wanted to show you guys this hummingbird that I ironed on. Maybe if I can. Oh, you can't hardly see it. Kind of. Oh gosh, it's really hard. Let me see if I can't dim one of my lights. The dim direction. Which way is dim? Nope, not that way. I don't understand. Oh gosh, that took forever. Okay. That one also. Let's see. I might not have like any light left. Oh, kind of. You can kind of see it. It's very faint. So there's just a single hummingbird. You can kind of see its beak right here. I wonder if I can. Oh, there we go. And then flowers with leaves. So it's just kind of like an outline. But all my flowers I think are going to be um, shades of yellow because they like red and yellow. And I think that will, with the red background, the yellow will pop. The greenery, I think I'll do like a key lime-ish greenery, like a spring green, and then I'll have to research the coloring of hummingbirds because all I've ever seen is like a red kind of chest at best, but then the rest of it's kind of like a really satiny, shimmery, like oil slicked almost kind of green. Um, so that's a lot of red and green with yellow flowers. So I'm gonna see if I can't find, I mean, I could make it my own color, but I'm gonna see if I can't find like a blue or something. I don't know. Maybe I could pretend that hummingbirds come in purple. But that's my, I just needed something kind of simple, I think. And no brain power on my part other than like the colors and where they go. We've had lots of creativity and new projects that don't have patterns. No worries for typing. It's a necessary evil of co-crafting. I got a massive haul from a dedicated needle workshop here. Oh, fun! But the service was mixed. I spent 90 minutes winding my purchases onto bobbins or spools because they were, oh, really? And no prices marked, so the owner gave me attitude when I removed things at checkout. Oh, well, lovely. Well, at least you got a fun haul. I think that's always fun. And that looks great. The hummingbird I think will be fun. It's not a pattern I've ever seen before, and that's why I got the hummingbirds because I thought, well, those could be fun. I really have been wanting to do more like herbs and spices for tea towels, but I think like if I'm gonna do those, I should probably do them for my kitchen. But my kitchen doesn't need more kitchen towels. I need some to like get a little bit more holy or burnt or something. I don't know. Or I need to get rid of some other towels, I guess. I don't know. Everybody always says you can never have too many towels until you have to store them. I refuse to let them take up more than one drawer space in my kitchen. Although somehow we go through towels like nobody's business. So I think I wash like 3 loads of towels, like kitchen towels, a week. It's it's a lot. Okay. I wish that I could find, and maybe this scoop and loop that they started locally will turn into more. But I wanted to find something local that, people could just kind of get together and sew whatever they're working on. I'm also keeping thread trimmings, which is fun. They generally had all different types of threads and actual silks. Oh, I had never seen before. I got silk ribbon too, over an hour away. Yep, all my shops are over an hour away. I understand. But silk. I have one. It is not within arm's reach, but it is like fuchsia and navy. I got it variegated because I was like, well, it could go with multiple things. So many things I've yet to use it. But it's got some purples in there and it's really pretty. I have a whole book I think on like how to sew with ribbon as well. Okay, I need more water. Alrighty. I think the hummingbird, it will take a few live streams, but I think it'll go relatively quickly. It'll give me, I think, just enough time to hopefully sort out what we're doing next. Because I really want to do a spring project. I just can't figure out the layering of it all. So it'll give me time to like pull my stash, figure out what's gonna get used or what could go together. I really liked the idea. I was telling you guys, like last fall, I had a ton of brown wool and I didn't know what to do with it. So, like, what else is brown besides the trunk of trees? And someone had suggested an owl, and so we ended up doing a really cool owl with turquoise accents. Maybe I should do something similar with the green. I feel like green is such a like universal plant color. I don't know. Maybe I should just do kind of like a field of flowers and kind of try out new stitches for different. Oh, welcome, Spooky Skellingtons. I like your handle. That's very fun. Welcome. Uh-oh. And we're knotted. Not very well. Okay, good. Okay. Let's see. A little mushroom still life for the browns. Oh, that would be way cute. I do still have a lot of browns. I could, with like mushrooms, I could still incorporate the green threads and like greenery with foliage around it, maybe. Oh my gosh, mushrooms. What a cute idea. I'll have to write that one down. Your hearts are heckin' cute. Thank you. They're they're almost done. I'm a little behind on Valentines, guys. I didn't get the memo. No, I was sick for a week, so we're a week behind, but that's okay. They'll be ready for next year. 'Tis the consensus. Moss is fun for textural stitching. Oh, mm, such a good idea. I was also thinking like a dragonfly because I have some of that sheer. I have it right over here. Ugh. This sheer Japanese thread. I have it in this kind of. Oh, so sorry, I had to cough. This kind of a caramel color, and then I have it in a dark navy somewhere. But I was thinking of using this for like a dragonfly wings, maybe, um, because it's sheer. I thought that could be kind of fun. But uh, so like moss and mushrooms on the buttress roots of a forest floor. That's a design I have ready to go, but is currently not started. All right, I hear you. I understand. That would be just even like a handful of little like mushrooms. Oh, gosh, how cute. What a cute idea. And I have like 500 million browns. I don't know why brown is such a common wool color. I don't, I have a lot. Granted, I am very, very fortunate I didn't buy a lot of my wool. I was gifted a lot of my wool. So I'm kind of at the mercy of what other people have purchased and not used. And I can understand why you have not used brown. The owl turned out super cute. I wonder if I have. Do I have my projects? Ugh. I don't know what that is. Nope, that's Hexie's. I think I have it right here. I have a couple Tupperware containers. That one's polyfill because I bought 500 pounds of it, not knowing how many. Oh, yeah, I got it. Kind of. I can show you guys what I did with the browns. This was my owl. He was way cool. I liked him. I had something different on his chest, and then I came across these beads, and I went with the beads. But he was various shades of brown, and the main one that I went with was this, like the body color, because it's a velvet, and it's got like hints of sage in it, or green, like undertones. So it was kind of a pain to match, but super fun to like just kind of, I'm like, okay, browns, owl, browns. I'm intrigued that you use clothespins as your bobbins for your threads and embroidery floss. Are those better than actual bobbins? I use them because I have like 5 pegboards in old antique frames. And so I use them because I can hang them and then I can kind of like hold up my project and see what matches to the threads instead of. Oh, hold on. So sorry. Um, I hold up my project to my threads instead of following every pattern to a T, because as you've noticed, I don't really follow patterns. So when patterns do call for specific threads, I tend to already have them, but I didn't buy the exact same wool that they're using, so I'm not going to necessarily use those threads anyways. I'm going to use threads that coordinate with the wool fabric that I have. So I've been starting to label them. I don't think this one's labeled. So this is a Crystal Ray. It's by Rainbow Gallery. The color is L288. So I have it notated. I think it's in like pencil, so it's really hard for you guys to see. But I've been notating them maybe like a year ago. I started writing down, and I do it in pencil. So if I ever like this one, I could probably use up. And then if I ever wanted to get a replacement for it, I knew what it was. Or if it's discontinued and I can't get a replacement, I can always erase the pencil mark and reuse the thingamajigger, the clothespins, for something different. So I like them also because you can pinch the thread here and they don't unwind very well. I do have some, if you like put them in a basket, they'll unwind like let me see this one. So like the Razzles and the Dazzles by Sue Spargo, they'll come unwound off the bottom if they're in a basket or in a bag because they're not cotton. So I like hanging them for that purpose as well. But a lot of people don't like to hang their threads because dust gets on it. So it's just kind of I think, personal preference. I just have a lot of thread and baskets don't work for me. Like I want to be able to see them all splayed out, and I have more wall space than I do like flat storage space, I guess. So it works well for me and for kind of the storage unit that I went with, or the storage organization that I went with. But I wouldn't say it's like the end all be all. It just works really well for my purposes. Hopefully that answers your question. I would also say that not all threads are created equal. So I showed you the Sue Spargo. I'll compare. This is a Sue Spargo Dazzle. So sorry, I had to cough. It's comparable to a size 8 pearl cotton, but they don't have sizes on them because there's nothing cotton about it. It does have a similar thickness to a size 8 though. This is a Valdani. It's a size 12. You can kind of see, like, I haven't really used much of either of them. So on on the clothespin, they kind of take up the same amount of space. And so I kind of had to play around with how to wrap them so that they all fit on my pegboard as well. So some of my older ones, let me see if I can find one. Well, this one's an older one. I did this like X over it and I kept it really short. I didn't have it come down the length of the clothespin. Now I have them come down longer so that they're a little bit narrower because this is just a little bit on the thicker side when it's up on my pegboard. That's actually really smart. Writing on the wooden pin sounds better than the plastic bobbins I use because the marker keeps getting wiped off. Oh no, even the permanent ones. And the ability to pinch off the end of the thread is better than the slots that my bobbins come with because they never hold on to the end of my thread. Yeah, I really like it. I've gotten in the habit of when I unwrap it to cut off a piece of thread, I try and pinch it before I cut it. It's especially helpful with these non-cotton threads because they do tend to unravel a little bit easier. And I like the razzles and the dazzles. I think they add a really fun touch to a project. So like I said, it works really well for me and how I store all of my threads. But I know that there are people out there that would be like, "Oh my gosh, it's covered in dust." I'm like, "Yep," and dust just it comes off. Like I'm okay with wiping off dust. It doesn't bug me. So um, it works really well for me. I scoured and scoured and scoured. I think every craft room I've had has been limited on storage space. And so the walls become functional art, if you will. You pulled out the sparkly one and my eyes went wide. I love a good sparkle. I'm I'm all for a sparkle. I've got quite a few. But they are awful. Like on the bobbins that they come on, you untuck them and they just unravel everywhere. And so that was another part of the like, okay, if they're on a clothespin, that can pinch the thread. That can right? That can keep it from unraveling. Um, Otherwise, I'd have to invest in like little kids, those like kind of poofy little hair ties. They're like, I don't know, they're about this big around. They go around a bobbin like this, and they're kind of thick, so you could put them, you could stretch them over a different kind of a bobbin, but I'd have to invest in those if I was doing something other than the clothespins. Okay, let's trim this guy. Oh, nope, I needed that needle. Silly me. Okay, two more. Gonna move my little owl. I'm gonna pause for a quick water break, and I will be right back. Okay, two more. Let's get this thread put back away. We're gonna try and tackle this guy. Can't say I'm excited. Let's see. The only problem I would have is that if I ever switch to clothespin, then my storage pins I use to store my embroidery floss would not fit the pins. So I think financially I'm best to stick with my bobbins. Yes, I would stick with what you have until you like if you're gonna be in a new space, then maybe think about different storage. But if you're in the same space that you've been in and what you have is working, go with what you have. I'm a big, big fan of use what you have. Um, my husband made me the first pegboard frame for Valentine's Day several years ago. And I promptly needed another one. So um, he's been kind enough to make all of them, but also wants me to stop buying thread. So I don't think he's making any more. Okay. Cross stitch, fun. There's a lot of cross stitchers in the guild that I went to on Thursday last week. I have only really ever known people to store all of their embroidery floss in like little snack size Ziploc bags, like long-term storage. And then like for projects, various various methods. I have determined that with cross stitch, I am no longer able to count. I cannot do counted cross stitch. I lose the ability to count. I don't know how, but I cannot do it. I could do little projects. I came across a pattern that was absolutely darling, and it was like a Singer sewing machine, and I really liked it, but it was much bigger than I have taken on in a long time, and the last one I took on was I don't even know where it went. I think it's gone, long, long gone. But it was a gorgeous pattern, and it was on like a really fine whatever the material is. I can't even so sorry guys. um I can get through two more. I can get through two more hearts. I only put my bobbins that are being used by threads in sandwich bags when I'm currently using that color. If it's not being used, they go back on the bins. Gotcha. Are your bobbins like this size bobbin, or are we talking like something larger? Are you doing like the whole skein of embroidery floss? I have questions. Oh, come on. Here we go. I have containers that have removable compartment walls, and the bobbins fit landscape in each row. Okay. I have, because you guys are talking like embroidery floss, right? Mine is like very, this is kind of disorganized, but like these kind of bobbins, the paper ones, is that what you guys are talking about? Or plastic? I guess some of them are plastic. I don't know. Is that? It's my tackle box of embroidery floss I've had since childhood. It gets added to. Okay. Um, Hold on. I mainly, oh, sorry. 3 slots is a skein laying down, and 1 slot is a bobbin width. Good, because the containers are portable. I mainly do counted cross stitch with no grids. Oh my gosh, because I just like the way it looks better as I'm working. The one and only time I gridded a fabric myself, the grid was extremely visible through my stitching. Oh, so I have regrets. Those paper bobbins you just pointed at are the same shape I use, but it's plastic. Okay, gotcha. I put 1 or 2 whole skeins of embroidery floss on one bobbin. Okay, sorry, I just had to figure out what bobbin meant. I understand. I remember like wrapping all of those one winter, summer, I don't know. It was a season. It took a while. I want to say it was like a really dreadfully hot summer. Um, but I wrote all of the numbers on them from DMC. I was so proud of myself. And then I came across a bunch of embroidery floss that wasn't DMC, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this. So, or the stuff that got unwrapped for friendship bracelets when I was a kid. I also, again, don't follow patterns, so I just grab colors that I like together and carry on. Oh, so sorry, guys. The cough is creeping in. I think I might. I don't know how to fully get this to. This heart's gonna be tricky. I might. Um, I might do this one with some fabric glue on the back side to try and get it to like stay. I still have a lot of skeins to bobbinate and then organize in numerical order in my storage bins, but I'm like, that bobbinating could be used to stitch instead. And that mentality wins every time. That's awesome. I was just sitting and watching TV and I didn't have a project in mind to sew, and so I was like, all right, here we go. I'm doing embroidery floss. Next up, I will do all of my bobbins. Or not bobbins, clothespins. It was a summer of organization for crafts. I was like, nope, this has to be organized. I can't just have containers of random projects. Okay. I don't want to get too close to it and then I won't be able to like fabric glue it. But I think that's going to be my best bet. So sorry. I did not mean to cough in your face. Or your ear, not your face. Okay. I think, call it a night for now because I have to figure out how to glue that down and keep it in place before I can finish sewing that one. And then we'll have that one to go. But I made you guys a promise I will do the rest of these off camera so that we are done with Valentine's hearts. The coughing really does not bother me. Don't worry. I know it bothers me more than anything else. I just don't want to annoy you guys with the coughing, so I try and mute it. But I will finish these off the live stream so that we can move on from Valentine's Day because we are past it. I've worked on it twice now since Valentine's and we're still not done, but this one I just don't think my whip stitch is going to be deeper than the amount that is folded over, so it's not going to catch it. So I think that it's still going to come undone to some extent. It might not. I just don't. I'm nervous. I could try it. Let's try. Ooh, okay. Two things that are tricky: lining up both edges, front and back of the wool, and also pinching the lace so that it's held correctly, I guess. I don't know. Okay. Let's give that a go. I'm gonna have to tie a knot in the middle of the lace. Ugh, what a pain. Let's do one more. And then we'll okay. Ooh. I do have one stamped cross stitch that I'm working on and a second that hasn't been started yet. My stamped cross stitch is my mindless project when I don't have the mental capacity for counting. So that's like they've painted on it. Is that's what you mean by stamped? I guess they haven't painted, they've stamped it. I get the concept, the words are different, but is that I've seen those. Some of them that I've seen are very expensive. Oh, come on. Just give me one more. Oh, I almost had it. Here we go. Oof. Okay. Oh, I thought I tied that so tight, only to find out I did not. Okay. Yes, it's like colored in already with numbers and symbols like a paint by numbers and you just stitch. Okay, yeah, I've seen this. Okay. I can see how it would be more mindless. Yep, I understand. You don't have to like count anything. It's my kind of counted cross stitch. Do you happen to like see any of the symbols or the numbers or any of that once you've finished on those ones? Oh, yikes. What a tangle. Okay. If you use the right amount of strands, you don't see any of the number symbols or the color beneath once it's been stitched. Oh, okay. That's cool. All right, little lace piece. I've had about enough of your sass now. Here we go. I think that worked out pretty well. Okay. So sorry, I had to grab some water. I'm almost out. There we go. I think I'm actually going to be on the hunt for a new water bottle. This one is a pain in the rear to clean, and I don't feel like I'm cleaning it well enough, if that makes it. Like I feel like there's room for stuff to, I don't know, build up, grow, what? I don't know. Okay. I'm glad I tested on the sampler. Neither of the variegated threads I got work with the red I have. No! know. I used my DMC color chart to test which colors I'd want to use next to it, and I don't have any. Oh man, that's the worst. Ugh, sorry. I mean, yay, you did the sampler instead of, you know, going gung ho. But still, it's the worst feeling. Like, shoot. Now you have to go buy the right threads. Okay, these cuffs are getting a little bit more frequent. So now it's like, I would need to buy some thread. Square one. I'd happily get one variegated thread for what I want to buy or what I want, but I'd have to go see them in person. And that's like an hour plus away, right? It's hard sometimes not being like in the city or close to everything. I'm still finding like local shops that I could go to for. I kind of stocked up on thread before we moved. There was a place that I went to for like a monthly sewing group, and they were having a big sale because someone thought they were out of or running low on threads, pearl cotton threads, and so they ordered more. And then when they went to go put them in storage, like in the drawers underneath and everything, those drawers were already full because they in fact did not need more. So they had a big sale, and so I was able to kind of stock up for a reasonable price. But you never know when you're going to need something new. It's always good to have that kind of resource at the ready, I guess. Okay, this lace. Here we go. Or 45 minutes to the guild. No, I'm in a major capital city, 5 minutes from a train station. Welcome to Sydney. All right, that's not bad. It's funny, despite being in a city, the travel time deters me from going out a lot. The travel time being in small town America is like, okay, if I'm gone and I go to this city, that's only like 25, 30 minutes each way. Or I can go to this city and it's an hour each way, and that's like an hour each way to myself if I don't have anybody else with me. I'm like, I get out of the house. I'm not responsible for anybody, any child, any human. Like, I can just be by myself. You know, the mindset kind of changed. We used to have everything within like 20 minutes, so it's just a different mindset since we moved. Okay, starting so close to the lace was maybe not my best idea, but I think I can do this. This side's a little bit shorter. Okay. What's the guild? So we were talking actually earlier. I went to a hand embroiders guild for the first time on Thursday. There's one kind of local, and by local I mean it's an hour drive, but they in the United States are nationwide, but I think each country has something similar. Um, Kabmanasi was talking about how they have one in Australia, but the one in America has um, master classes, so you can get certified through them on certain techniques, and just different, depending on the size, different community outreach, different. This one has a book club, and the book club meets, however often they meet, and their book usually has something to do with hand sewing. This one, she's like, no, there's nothing in this one. And I was like, oh, okay. Sorry to hear that. Um, they make little pillows for nursing homes. There's someone who's doing bookmarks for something unrelated to their book club. Um, but it offers, I would say the majority of the people that I saw were retired. So I was on the younger age spectrum, but they also have a skill set that I like. I'm not going to find in books, right? Like the books are helpful, but sometimes there's tips and tricks that you get in real life. So I've been hunting for classes, just to kind of take different classes in the area and kind of get to know different shops and maybe kind of network in that regard. And that's my outing, but shops don't exist here. So, no, that's not true. Shops exist, classes do not exist. So, the guild was really exciting. But there's all sorts of different types of guilds. So, this hand embroiders guild was primarily cross stitching. So spooky, you might really like if you have one or research one. Um, you might really like it. Different tips and tricks with cross stitch. I'm terrible, as I mentioned, at counting when it comes to cross stitch, so um, maybe they'll get me to do something simple and or work up the courage to do the one that I really, really love, but it looked like it was on really small linen almost. We'll see. Someday. Someday maybe. But yeah, they offer, mine has, at least the one that I went to, they have their meeting and then they have a program. And the program is usually like a taught class almost on something new. And I do a lot of wool applique, and they don't have a whole ton of wool applique, or someone who does maybe more than just running stitch, back stitch, blanket stitch, whip stitch. And normally my projects have a little bit more excitement to their stitches, but this one I challenged myself to stay within two colors and have each heart be different. Normally I would like all of them to be the same, so this was just kind of a fun challenge for me. But um, yeah, I think every guild is different. But it's a guild in the United States. It's across the nation, so you have access to all sorts of resources electronically. I don't know if they would ship you different resources either, but there is an association fee, but I think what you get out of it is so much more than what you are paying into it. I mean, it's just a network of amazingly talented, at least from the one visit I've had so far, just really talented individuals. So I would encourage you to Google, see if there's something that you have. Oh, find like a local chapter. I have one that's technically closer to me than the one that I went to, but the one I went to, I knew someone. She has actually invited me since we moved here, and I just haven't been able to make it work with all of the holidays and everything else going on. So, um, finally got to get out there. Okay, I think I know we're almost done, but I think I have to call it a night. I think I have to go get something warm on my throat. I am doing a struggle with uh, the talking and the coughing and the sewing. So I am gonna actually bid you guys a good evening or good morning, depending on where you are. We'll kind of lay out our hearts. So we've got most of them done. We just have this really fun iridescent one with the tulle and the sequins, but lots of good progress. I'll do this one off camera because we can be done with Valentines. And then next up, I did show you guys that hummingbird. We're gonna do a tea towel, just kind of basic hand embroider. I'm just gonna do a stem stitch, and we'll pick out the colors I think next time as well. I'll probably have a handful to kind of choose from like I normally do, and then we'll whittle it down. But thank you guys so much for keeping me company and chatting with me. Spooky, it was really great to have you. I hope you come back. I'm making noodles for lunch, hungry already. See ya. Thank you for joining us. Even with your cough. I know, guys, I'm so sorry. Excited to see these. Keep on being you. And a niche within a niche. Definitely for sure. Um, and Spooky, take a look at oh, I've been saying spooky, not spoopy all night. Ay, ay, ay. I'm so sorry. But take a look at a guild. Go Google. I think it could be really fun. You might be interested in signing up. It could be a lot of fun. I'm excited. I am looking forward to joining and having that like just kind of an added outing. It'll be fun. So if you are here in the United States and you have tomorrow off for President's Day, I hope you enjoy your 3-day weekend or midwinter break for those of you who mentioned having the whole week off. Otherwise, happy Monday. I hope it's a good day. Oh, I can see my reflection in this button, kind of, sort of. Interesting. Um, but yeah, have a good week ahead, guys. Thank you so much for joining me.